Guest this morning, he's in studio. He's the head of the Council of Patriots. He's a talk show host and a political commentator. He returned to the country recently following 2 years in the U.S. We will talk about his return. We'll talk about his bid for Senator of Montserrat County. We'll look at governance issue. Why does Costa think Joe Boakai is the right man for the job? He will tell us. Costa is here. Costa, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning to you, sir. My dear brother Clarence. It's a pleasure to be here. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Many happy return, Costa. How are things?
Things are very good. It's good to be alive. There were many who did not make it to see the New Year. Some made it and are now here with us, so we're grateful to God.
You speak too much about your grandmother. Have you seen her?
Oh yes, we went there on Saturday. We had a great time with her, and there were tons of other people from nearby villages who came to see us. I had not seen my grandmother in 2 years, and I was so happy to see her.
How do you communicate with her, for example?
Oh, we do talk on the phone. My village is not far.
No, I mean, whether you're home or whatever, how do you talk to her? You speak the Pele to her or what?
Well, yes, I do speak some Pele, okay. Not as well as you do, but I do try. And she speaks some English.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's good. How does it feel, Costa, being back home on your land, in your country that breathes after being away for 2 years plus?
It feels great. It really does feel great because there's nowhere like home, and 2 years, this is the longest I've been away from home. In the 7 years that I've been in the States studying, and I would come at least once a year or twice a year, but this time it was 2 years. So being back here and seeing my people and being with them is just an amazing feeling.
How is the COP2?
COP could not be stronger. It is doing very well. We came with a delegation of 15 individuals from the United States. We all came on the same flight. A few of them came ahead of us, and they have all been having a great time. Our young comrades here, our other members here on the ground, they're very exuberant, very upbeat that we're here to join with them to continue the struggle. So I'm very proud and humbled and honored to be the chief servant of this very dynamic grassroots movement called the COP.
Now, 2 years ago, there was a situation when the government said there was an issue. The government wanted you fled the country for some time, and then you broke the news that you've spoken to President Weah, and the president thought it was important for you to come back home, and you said you would have come back. Now you are home. Do you still insist? Do you think you did nothing wrong?
Absolutely not. We did not do anything wrong. It was a politically motivated witch hunt. I came here on December 19th on a laissez-passer, which I legally obtained it's one of the easiest documents to get. And I presented it to them at the airport. It was accepted. It made no issue for the weeks I was here until I was about to leave, and they stopped me at the airport and tried to make a big deal of it because the government was not happy that we had caused quite an embarrassment for them with the protests and all that kind of stuff. So they were trying to settle scores. I think they were just being petty and childish. But then, in March of last year, President Weah reached out, and I was shocked. And I was really shocked. And he said to me that he was being bombarded and embarrassed everywhere he went. People were concerned about my not being able to come home and all these threats, that were coming from government officials, talking about I was a fugitive and no radio station to relay my broadcast, as if any court had charged me with anything. So he said, "You're a free man to come home." I said, "No. If you say I'm a free man to come home, not that I'm waiting for you to say I should come home before I come home, but then you have to instruct your Ministry of Justice to abandon that witch hunt of an investigation into my supposed, use of a forged travel document." And so the very next day, as you are aware, they dropped a so-called investigation. And so but that's not what I was waiting for, to come back home.
You would have come back home?
I would have come back home.
Are you sure?
Yes, I would have come back. I came here December 19 when they were threatening they were going to arrest me. You remember that, Clarence? I came back here. And what did they do? They did not arrest me. So I came here when they said they were going to arrest me. I was coming. But I wanted to finish my school. I was working on my master's degree, which I've concluded. I finished in October. So I was like, you know what? When I'm done with school and I go to Liberia, I will be prepared for whatever eventuality. If they arrest me, it would, and I have to go to jail and I have to fight this battle, it would not hamper my schooling. And so that's why I said I'm waiting to finish school. And now that I'm finished with school, if they want to arrest me, I am not afraid of them. You know, I've been to jail twice. I'm not afraid of George Weah. Ellen was more sophisticated than George Weah, and I can deal with George Weah. So I'm not afraid. And the people are with us, and God is with us. We are not afraid.
As a matter of fact, congratulations on the occasion of your graduation. You see what, Masters in International Relations?
No, that's what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, I decided to do something else. I wouldn't say unfortunately, and I found it very interesting. Masters in Criminal Justice with concentration in Leadership and Administration.
Criminal justice.
Yeah.
Why your focus that way? Because they were after you.
There's,
so you want to learn a little
there's
bit.
a lot of criminality going on here. Yeah.
But it's good to go, Henry. Now you're back home. You know, amid a cheering crowd of supporters.
Yeah.
You took on the Unity Party headquarters. You spoke to your supporters. Do you feel safe being home?
Oh yeah, very safe. Very, very safe. I feel safe for several reasons. One, you know, I have my people here. I don't do certain things that I used to do. I don't hang out late. I avoid the streets when I shouldn't be on the streets at night, because Clarence, the issue of safety in this country, it concerns all of us, even yourself, man. You could get harmed by some, you know, criminal on the street at night. They just want your cell phone. It may not be a political thing. It may not be some enemy who doesn't like you that wants to get even with you. So just generally, there's a general issue of insecurity in the country. But for people like us, you, myself, and others who, you know, are privileged to have a platform, we have to be in that, we ruffle some feathers the wrong way. We have to be generally more cautious. And a guy like me especially, you know, who throw a lot of punches, and I have a lot of enemies, powerful ones. So I try to not do, you won't see me at a nightclub, you won't see me in certain places, I don't eat at certain places. You know, there are lots of things I don't do. I just stop. You know, when you are at a certain place, you have to regiment and conduct yourself in a certain way.
Wow.
Yep.
You feel safe back home at least?
Yeah, I do. There are things I can do in America that I will not do here. Walking the streets, I had lots of people accompanied me here. They're outside there. They're good friends. They're comrades. They believe in the struggle. I feel safe among them. I feel safe among the ordinary people out in the streets. The ordinary people are not my problem. They are my friends. You know, I saw that the day we came. But there are certain people who don't like us because they think that we're a threat to their being in power.
You continue to be fierce critics of the government. You're back home. Will you be the way you've always been?
Exactly the same. Right after here, I'm going to go do
You're not dropping arms?
Not at all. And interestingly, Clarence, as critical and harshly critical as I've been of the government and George Weah in particular, from time to time he does pick up the phone and call me. Within the period of 3 weeks.
You mean George Weah?
Yeah, I talk to President Weah all the time, and I say this to people, and people find it hard to believe. But I don't know whether he has grown to be more tolerant. I don't know that. Or he just has decided that, you know what, I'm going to just toughen up and tolerate Costa in particular. I don't know. But Weah has a history of being very intolerant. Everybody knows that. Those who know him well do know that. But for some reason, there's an exception with me.
Wow.
So it's not going to stop me. I'm going to continue to blast him. I think President Weah has terribly failed this country. And I think he deserves to be given a one term. We're not going to re-elect this man. He's not going to win. He left the country for 48 days.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
Probably there's something two of you doing we don't know. I mean, the perception in the public. George Weah doesn't like Costa. Costa criticized the president. He doesn't like the president and blah, blah, blah. But George Weah and Costa, they're talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, I watched the interview.
so the both of you are deceiving us.
Well, I don't know whether about deceiving, but he calls, I don't call. The other day I watched an interview you did here with the Minister of Information.
Yeah, legend.
I watched the interview.
Oh, you did?
I did. You asked some really nice questions. And he said he hadn't spoken with the president in 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, the president just called me twice in the same 3-week period.
And he has not spoken to the minister. No, but he said maybe because the president was outside the country.
Well, I don't know. But the president, I was also outside the country when the president called me. But anyway, on a serious note, this is about our country. I'm not friends with George Weah. We're not friends. We're not going to drink beer together. We're not going to meet.
You will not meet with the president?
No, I have no interest. Why should I meet with the president?
Why? If he calls you to see him?
For what?
He's the leader of your country, for example.
For what? I mean, if he calls me and wants to talk on the phone, I will talk with him like I do all the time.
In his office.
No. You see, I'm not going to go... There's an extent to how I interact with Mr. President. I cannot interact with the president in a way that offends my supporters, that makes my people feel uncomfortable. I will not do that because I treasure the support and the loyalty of my people, the Liberian people. And they would not be comfortable with me going. The reason I divulge to them that I talk to the president all the time is because I wanted them to know this, so that if they heard it somewhere, they wouldn't be, oh, going to meet with the president. I'm not in any official capacity that I have to go and deal. I don't have to deal with the president in any official capacity. It would just be a courtesy call to discuss what. The president should have better things to do than meeting with Henry Costa. Let me focus with my people, the ordinary people of Liberia, who want to see me, than going to sit down with the president who should be doing the work of the Liberian people.
Henry, let's talk a little bit about your senatorial bid.
Good.
You want to be senator of Montserrado County. You've said this time without number. You've said that again. Why do you think you should be the man? Why Henry Costa, a Montserrado senator?
That is a very good question. I think it is the other way around. It's the people who want me to be senator, and I say that with utmost humility, because it's a great honor for people to want to entrust you with leadership over them, and it's something that I see has been very sacrosanct. And so the people have been asking me since our dear friend Senator Dillon won and won again in 2020. The people have been saying we want to send a second person to the Senate, and we want to draft you, Henry Costa, to go to the Senate. It took me a long time to consider that, and eventually I made up my mind that I've served these people in this role as an advocate for 10 years, going on 11 years now, and it is high time I availed myself to their service, to their continued service, from in a different role. And so that's why I threw my hat in the race, and we've racked up lots of support. I mean, I followed as many radio stations conducted opinion polls. I sat back in my home in the US, I watched some of these polls, and I was just deeply, deeply humbled by how people were calling in. I think your station probably conducted one of those polls, and I was just humbled that the people remember us and appreciate us. We have not built hand pumps. We have not built colleges with people's money in our own name. We have not brought buses to do business in our own name and pretending to be a political philanthropist. But the work that we've done to strengthen democracy in this country, to hold the government's feet to the fire, is appreciated by the Liberian people. That is why they want us to go to the Senate, and we are prepared. We have a senator who has not, even as representative, did not put any bail on the floor, has not made any significant contribution from the legislature. So we need to replace him, let him go and continue to run his war buses and his community college and his businesses, and let a true servant. I studied government and public policy, and I have a degree in that, and we are prepared to go and bring real decent leadership to the Liberian people through the Liberian Senate.
Now, because when I extended you the invitation and we were talking and you subsequently confirmed, I started to do a critical, comprehensive, contextual political analysis of your bid. And then I said, for example, unlike Abraham Darius Dillon, who won with a united opposition, for example, You know, the opposition is disintegrated now. That this is so because Cummings is on another hand, Joe Boakai support is on another hand. Henry Costa is being accused of helping to break up the opposition. I'm sure you've heard this times without number. Are you worried about a considered opposition to push your candidacy?
Not at all. Not in the least. There are people in the Cummings camp that would not vote for me because I don't support Cummings, and I have been very firm in my criticism of Mr. Cummings. But there are also lots of people in the Cummings camp who will support me. Because why they support Mr. Cummings, they believe I should be the next senator of Maserati County because they know what I would bring to the Senate when elected. But here is why we will win. Over the last 11 years, Clarence, we have, in our own name, in our own right, built a very formidable following in this country. And the Liberian people, independently of a political party or a political leader, there is a critical mass, quite a huge pool of people who believe that we should go to the Liberian Senate. Then we have the strongest political ally in the United Party, in Joseph Human Boakai. And Clarence, again, I will refer to these polls, which some people would say are not scientific. But we all know how those polls were when we won successively in 2019 and 2020 in the Maserati Senate race. Most of the polls pit Joe Boakai over George Weah, and they put Mr. Cummings in insignificantly, very, very minute position, significantly minute position. And so why I don't want to, put Mr. Cummings down, the Cummings people who would not vote for me would not be that many in order to undermine my chances of winning the election. So I have no fear whatsoever. I think we have a broad-based coalition of people from various walks of life and political parties that will support us, and we will win the Senate race in Maserati County.
Are there fallbacks in the event you didn't win the elections? You stay in the media business or government job?
I don't want to work in the executive. When Mr. Boakai wins, not if, when, I do not want to work for the president. And I have my reasons, and I've stated.
You're on record?
Yes, I am on record. I don't want to work for the executive branch of government. I trust Mr. Boakai, his impeccable record of service, his integrity, which is unimpeachable. But I don't want to work in the executive branch of government. I want to go to the legislature where I can maintain my independence and be able to work in a way I think would best suit the Liberian people's interests. And so if I don't win, which is a big if, I would continue to serve the Liberian people in various capacities. There are other things I'm working on in the United States, and I hope that those things can materialize so that I will bring back the benefits, the dividends here, to continue to help my people. So just in case we didn't win, it would not be the end of the work for me. But I'm convinced that this is my time. You see, there's a time for everything, clients. I ran for representative in 2017. It was not my time. And I think God knew that it was not my time, and in his infinite wisdom and grand design for my life, he wanted me to be preserved from going to the legislature at that time so that he would elevate me further. And look at me now. I'm much more matured, I'm way more educated, credentialed, and I'm ready. Greater exposure, greater leadership skills. I've come a long way. I'm still a work in progress, as we all are, but I believe that I have made a significant personal development and growth. And I believe this is the time.
You see, upon your arrival to the country, you spoke to your supporters at the Unity Party headquarters, and I follow you very well. And in that speech, you said you are willing to give up your senatorial admiration, for the election, for the sake of Joe Boakai. And I was just thinking, Costa, what would be that scenario that will lead you not running but allowing Joe Boakai to go and become president?
If the time that I would have to put into the effort and time into getting JNB elected president was threatened, was undermined by my own effort to become senator, if it came to that, if I couldn't balance it, I would prefer focusing on helping Joe Boakai become president as opposed to focusing on myself becoming senator. And the reason is simple. Because I am in this race for the Liberian people. Becoming senator is a good thing. It's a good thing for me personally, and I think it will be a good thing for the people of Montserrat, Liberia, because of the things that I will bring to the Senate. But what is even more quintessential important is having a decent president in the mansion who would focus on the Liberian people, who would travel only when it is necessary, who would not waste our money to go and see his son play football abroad while the people are languishing in abject poverty. That to me would be more important. So I would willingly give up my own ambition at this time to help ensure that Joseph Yuman Boakai becomes president. Not because he's Joseph Yuman Boakai, but because of who he is and what he is and what he can do and will do. That is what I meant.
Now, when you got to the country, and if you were to walk in the streets and at intellectual centers to gauge the views of Liberians about your entry to the country, they are multi-dimensional views. There's one group of people who say, hey, wait, Costa that we know, when he was ever coming to the country, this is not a crowd we expect, And others say, no, wait a minute. The road, probably he didn't want too many people going at the same time, but this guy, no matter liking, hating him, he still have got something. The crowd. Now, one of your very good friends, I guess, Town Wongwe, he wrote something, and I want to read that and ask your opinion. He wrote a few days ago something he calls 10 politically inconsistent truths, and amongst them he says, my brother Costa overestimates his influence, and yesterday was a humbling example, and also shows that running in 2023 against Joseph may be detrimental to his political career. How do you react to his perspective?
First of all, Tai is a good friend, but that's Tai's opinion. When was the last time anybody returned to this country that was received by over 1,000 Liberians? Over 1,000, and I'm just being modest. Over 1,000 human beings. I was not here to organize anything. It was just my people who organized that. We were not having any rally. We were not having a protest. Just people went to the airport to receive me. Over 1,000 human beings, perhaps 2,000. I'm gonna say. When was the last time? Tell me. When? And we didn't pay people. We didn't pay anyone. When was the last time thousands of people walked from Vamuma all the way to Broad Street for a politician? The people in this country. What is that? That is true, genuine love and support. This was just people saying, welcome home. How many people traveled? When was the last time Tara traveled and 10 people went to the airport to receive him? He has never had that.
He's not running to be senator.
No, but guess what? No, he is a political person. He's running to be representative in Nimba. Why aren't Nimbaians going to the airport to receive Tara Wongbe? How many times any of these politicians had that many people receiving them? The point is, my brother, that is not ordinary. It is special, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm honored by it. So Tai's opinion is feckless, is illegitimate, and it has no weight at all.
Before we move on to talk about your support for Boakai and why you think he's the real man for the job, what are some good things you're willing to say about President George Weah, for example, if there's any, and what could that particularly be? It's a tough question.
No, not a tough question. I'm thinking.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking about what good he's done. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't find any. I just thought.
Are you serious?
No, I couldn't find any. Perhaps you know some that I don't know. But nothing. Mr. Weah is an extraordinarily blessed man. Clarence, you and I were born in poverty. We come from humble beginnings. as is Mr. Weah. To have amounted to this level, the leader of a country of 5 million human beings, is an extraordinary blessing that most of us will never have. To abuse it the way he's abusing it, to treat the people like trash.
You think he's abusing it?
Oh yes, the president is ungrateful, because what did he do to deserve this? Play football? Kick a ball around? Mr. Weah kicked ball. Deba kicked ball around. Oliver McCall kicked ball around. What else did George Weah do to deserve this? But Mr. Weah is ungrateful to the Liberian people. You see, Weah does not have an attitude of gratitude. He believes he's entitled to it. Then everybody else who play football should feel entitled to it. Mr. Weah is a bad president. He's a bad leader. He's a bad human being.
Okay. Probably we'll come back there before we open the telephone lines. Henry Costa is the head of the COP. He's our guest this morning right here on the OK Morning Rush on 99.5. Smile FM in Zwedru, Grand Jide County is relaying this show. You are a very staunch supporter of former Vice President Joe Boakai. You've not hidden your intention. You've said this time without number. Even when the CPP was together, you say you would have preferred Boakai over Cummings and over anybody. Now, what advantages does former VP Boakai you think have now that he didn't have in 2017, for example? In essence, what has changed in his favor that you think he will win these elections?
That's a brilliant question, Brother Clarence. One of the key things that has changed is that we don't have Mrs. Salif in power to organize and preside over the elections. Mrs. Salif stole the election from VP Boakai and gave it to George Weah because Mrs. Salif was not comfortable with Joe Boakai as president for 2 reasons.
That's perception.
No, that is not perception. I know things that, I'm sorry, with all due respect, you do not know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
I am a politician, you are not. And I'm privy to certain things.
Go ahead.
So that's one thing.
Except that I wanted those kinds of perception to be accompanied with facts.
I will never give you
so
a
I
piece
would
of
know
paper.
that election was probably, I don't know, rigged in Weah's favor or what?
Mr. Boakai has advantages today, several advantages. I just named one. Ellen is one. Ellen being out of the picture is one. Number two, George Weah is the biggest campaigner for Joe Boakai.
You think so?
Yes. I'm not the biggest campaigner for Joe Boakai. Boakai is not the biggest campaigner for Joe Boakai. It is George Weah. It is because of George Weah. Boakai has tremendous natural support among the Liberian people. But that support has increased thanks to George Weah's dismal, reckless conduct as president. And when the people look at George Weah and look at Joe Boakai, they see a sharp contrast between two opposites. On one hand, a reckless, insensitive, incompetent, corrupt president, a decent, great man of integrity, humble, honorable Joe Boakai, on the other hand, experienced, and they want the opposite to George Weah. And those attributes are found at this point in time mostly in Joe Boakai. That is the reason why the majority of the Liberian people now gravitate to Joe Boakai than to George Weah or to the other people who are running for president.
I know we'll come back to Boakai. I don't want this slipping out of my mind. I should ask you earlier, but a few days ago, or probably a week and a half ago, Costa, you wrote on your official page that the Liberian economy was doing very well and better than Ghana's. But
no, that's not exactly what I wrote.
Okay, let me conclude the question. Then you come to do the correction, whatever. You wrote that the Liberian economy was doing better than that of Ghana's, but you later pulled down that post probably after a batch of criticisms from your supporters and people in the opposition community. Do you still believe what you wrote, or has anything changed in your mind?
You see, there was a misunderstanding in my post. And because I'm a leader, when my people misunderstand something I say, I need to be considerate of the concerns of my people. That's what a good leader does. I took the post down because of my people. And that's what George Weah should learn to start doing.
What was the misconception there?
Yeah, it was a misconception. Clarence, and I encourage you and everybody listening to go and read up on the situation in Ghana right now. I was not comparing the economic infrastructure of Ghana compared to Liberia. I am full of praise of what Ghana has done since the rolling years to make Ghana what it is today. The infrastructure, Ghana is just on another level. But I was talking about the current inflation crisis in Ghana. I was talking about Ghana's inability to even secure loans because Ghana has a national debt portfolio of $55 billion. Ghana has a credit rating which Liberia does not have. That just shows you how advanced the Ghanaian economy is. There are credit ratings agencies like Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and all those credit rating agencies. They rated Ghana's economy as being good for a long time, stable and good. And because of that credit rating, Ghana was able to secure billions and billions of dollars in commercial loans and bilateral loans to undertake infrastructure development. All those roads and those things you see in Ghana, most of them are funded by loans. Guess what happened, my dear brother? In February of this year, those Western credit ratings agencies went to a meeting, apparently, and downgraded Ghana's credit rating to very bad. When they downgraded it, Ghana had a problem. Ghana now could no longer secure new loans to do projects. Ghana now started experiencing inflation. I'm not an economist, I'm just telling you the layman way. And so Ghana is plunged into a major economic crisis. And so the point I was making was not that Liberia has a better economy than Ghana. I was saying the inflationary crisis in Ghana. The CD, take for example, it used to be 4 Ghana cedis to $1 US. Today, the last time I checked, it's 12 Ghana cedis to $1 US. Now you do the math. What is that? The Ghana cedi has significantly devalued by about 300% or 200% against the US dollar. It is because of the crisis there. But Ghana has brilliant people. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, and all those people, they were turning around. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a brilliant president and a brilliant team to turn around the mess that we're in. So that was the point. But because people didn't understand, I was talking about the inflationary crisis and all that kind of stuff, and the attendant consequences, increased cost of living, the hardship, prices, things they used to buy for 4 cedis, you can now buy them for 7, 8 cedis. So that's what I meant.
Assuming without admitting, Costa, that your justification is correct, why couldn't you explain what you just explained back with an additional explanation of a post instead of pulling down your post? Because when somebody like you posts and you pull it down, do you agree with me that there are a lot of implications?
Of course, I do. And you see, I'm human. And you are a talk show host. It's easier to communicate through words, spoken words, than written words. What I did when I took the post down, the next day on our show, the Costa show, I explained what I meant. And then the people say, now we understand what you meant. I was not comparing the Ghanaian economy overall versus Liberian economy. Ghana has a national budget of about $16-17 billion. The GDP, the last time I checked, was about 77 billion, I believe. Yeah, your GDP is about your real GDP is about 2.3 billion. So you're nothing compared to Ghana in that case. But I was looking at the inflationary crisis and the cost of living.
Costa, while out of the country, did you in any way campaign for the imposition of sanction on this government?
I did.
You did?
I did. I'm a big champion for sanctions. Who broke the word that sanctions were going to come? I did. In March of 2021, when I played the audio from Congressman Christmas from that program they had, that event, that seminar, symposium. And yes, I was, and I still am a big supporter of sanctions, on targeted sanctions. Yes.
Targeted sanctions.
On individuals in the government. And there will be more sanctions coming.
Were you shocked, for example, that the U.S. government didn't release a list of sanctioned officials as widely predicted in December?
We knew they were going to sanction on December 9th. I said they were going to. And on December 9th, what happened? The American ambassador issued a statement and said, today we will not be releasing new names. But in the coming months, go read it further. He said it. In the coming months, we will be releasing we will be announcing new sanctions on a need-to-do basis. The American ambassador said that. It's there. You can read it. So there will be more sanctions.
I'm trying to pull that statement. I hope you can pull it up.
There will be more sanctions.
Let's go back to your support for Joe Boakai and Boakai's candidacy. What are your predictions for a running mate to Joe Boakai? Are there names you would prefer, for example?
There is no name that I will prefer. Because of my proximity, my special relationship with former Vice President Joe Boakai, I have decided that I will be staying out of the conversation publicly about who becomes his Vice President. Whoever he picks as Vice President, I will be one of the first few people to know before the public gets to know. I will know. And so I will not say anything publicly that will try to force his hands to pick a certain person. The choice of Vice President is a decision that he alone has to make. I advised the former Vice President on so many issues. Even on the issue of Vice President, I will offer my opinion, my advice, but he has to be the one to make that decision. He spoke the other day about who he wants his Vice President to be. I don't know whether you read that.
I didn't.
Oh,
what did he say?
He said, naming a Vice President is a very personal decision. I want somebody who shares who believes in my values and who believes in honest service to country. He said it is not about prestige and big name. It is about what they can do with me to turn the country around. He said it. He's already giving you the parameters of who his Vice President will be. So whoever Joe Boakai names as his Vice President, I will support that person 100%. I will have no issue because I trust his ability, his wisdom to make the right decision. And I will be there. He will tell me, nephew, I've decided it's going to be this person. He will tell me that, trust me. And I will keep my mouth shut when he tells me that before he announces it. And then when he announces it, I will come out and I will say I support that person 100%. That is what I will do.
Do you think Boakai's chances of becoming president of Liberia would have been better had the CPP still, being the way it was?
Better. I don't know why I want to use that word, better. It would have been better had the CPP held, but Boakai's chances are not hurt in any way by the dissolution of the CPP. Because, Clarence, you are here. You hear the people calling into your show and other shows. You hear the opinion polls. Joe Boakai, 78 callers. Joe, we are 44 callers. Ellis coming 2. Ellis coming 3. Man, how can a man who gets 75, the other man get 3 and 2? How can a 3 and 2 men stop the 75 men from winning that? The man tapping the president. But the other man will stop the man. It can't happen. Joe Boakai's chances are as good as they can be. So, there was a time, I'm going to be candid with you. Many of us, many people, not me in particular, felt that the ticket should be a Boakai communist ticket. Many people, even you yourself, man, you're very sharp, man. You're witty, man. You see the situation. You analyze it. It seemed as though that's what the ticket would have looked like. But Mr. Cummings did not want that. Joe Boakai had absolutely no problem with it. The other day, I was talking, and this I can divulge because it's not a sensitive thing. And I said, Uncle Joe, there was a time for the VB thing, even you could not stop the Boakai Cummings ticket. He said, yo, Henry. I mean, even he conceded to me in that conversation that the people wanted that ticket at a certain time. But Mr. Cummings decided he cannot be vice president with Joseph Boakai.
They say you destroyed that.
Guys, no, least Berlin.
What if Boakai picks Cummings?
If Boakai picks Cummings, it will be because Boakai thinks that it is the right thing to do.
And you will celebrate that.
I will support it. Whoever Mr. Boakai picks, I will support it. I am not against Mr. Cummings.
Do you take any responsibility for the disunity or
Zero.
of Unity Party pulling away from the CPP?
Zero.
You think you did nothing wrong?
No. Clarence, who am I again? Chairman of CUP, talk show host, political activist. Do you think I have the power, the influence to cause a political collaboration of full parties to disintegrate?
That's what people think.
Well, why do people give me so much credit for power that I do not possess? Do you know why CPP did not hold? The dishonesty, the political wheeling and dealing from the other side. Because they were trying to ensure that the Trump, Mr. Boakai, to become the standard bearer of the CPP. It was not Mr. Boakai. Mr. Boakai is a very benign character. He's very firm but very benign. Let me put it this way. Though Boakai is some people think Boakai is soft. Yet to know Boakai. The people who work with Boakai, they fear him. And I like that they fear him. I don't fear him. You know why? Because I don't intend to do wrong. And I don't do wrong. He respects me, even as young as I am. He respects me for who I am, for what I believe in. Not because I'm a talk show host, not because of that. That's why he respects me. And so I'm not afraid of him because you should not be afraid of him when you do not intend to do wrong or when you do not do wrong.
Are you a member of the ALP?
Oh, a bona fide member of the ALP.
Why didn't you go to your party headquarters to speak to your supporters, Costa?
Because my party was away. We were having a convention. We were trying to ensure that we meet the election commission, the deadline that you must have a convention in the year before the election. So, you know, my party's convention was held at the very 11th hour. So, my party, a lot of my partisans could not come to receive me. They had to go for our convention. And so we decided to do it at the UP headquarters because we have a beautiful headquarters. I think we have we own our own building. Unlike the CDC, unlike even Unity Plan, that I can say to you. We have the most beautiful party headquarters in the country, period. We have great space and all. But the Unity Party headquarters, which is a very nice place too, is more easily accessible than my party headquarters. So that's why we chose the UP headquarters. Right on Broad Street. Who can miss it? Everybody knows it. So it made practical sense to go to the Unity Party.
Do you want more sanctions on the government?
I do. And I'm advocating and more sanctions will happen before election.
Why?
Because I think we need to send it, and the Americans send a powerful message, and they're going to send that message. You saw what happened. We were rejected. We missed out on the MCC money. Perhaps I may be incorrect, but let me say this. All the countries that passed on the MCC scorecards received hundreds of millions of dollars.
I need to check that out.
Except Liberia. Oh, you don't have the time now to do that.
No, I'll do it.
You can fact check me later and correct me later when I go. But we did not receive any money. What we brought instead, we brought selfies with Joe Biden. Why Sierra Leone walked away with about $500 million. Even Togo, which is led by a dictator, for Nasingbe, received hundreds of millions of dollars from the Millennium Challenge Corporation. We didn't get any. You know what kind of sanctions? I don't. That's what you call financial sanctions. They need us with the money, clients, because they don't trust us. The government was celebrating. They made their first pass of on the MCC scorecard in 5 years, but they didn't get the money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is it. We'll leave it for now and see whether we can interact with our people this morning. On the OK Morning Rush, Henry Costa is here. Guess what? I'm opening a special line for the people in Grand Jide County. And that line is 0770 942817. Only for people in Grand Jide. 0770 942817. That number, Samuka Keita You can announce it to the people only in Grand Gila. Call that number, we'll put you through. 0770-942-817. Better still, the other numbers are 0777-700-995, 777-700-995, and 0555-995-995. Hello?
Good morning, Prime Jackson, and let me say good morning to the hero of the patriotic national.
Good morning. Your name? Where you come from?
Liberia.
What's your name? I'm sorry. I said exclusively this line would have been for the people from Grand Gila, and I mean that. 0770-942-817. Don't call if you're around Monrovia or other places for Grand Gila. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
And Mr. Pleasant, good morning to Reverend Costa.
Let's hear you.
And Emmanuel, I call you from the office of the Intervention Alliance Economic Defense Freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clarence, I listen to Reverend Costa, and it is quite unfortunate that Mr. Costa will sit on the radio and try to be highly dishonest and deceptive to the Nigerian people. Now, I listen to Mr. Costa saying he cannot remember any good thing that President Biya has done. But I can remember vividly in 2018 when Mr. Henry Costa was on his greatest history from the government. He praised the government on several occasions on things that the government has done that were positively impacting the livelihood of our people. So today, because he's no longer on his greatest history, he wants to demonize the government. I think it is unfortunate that people in Henry Costa, whenever they come to the public street, it is important that they speak with honesty so that the young.
Thank you, sir. Hello?
Yeah. Good morning, Adina. That's just Karen Jackson.
I'm sorry, Rando. I know you from Monrovia. I will not take you. I said the line is for people from Grand Gila. That's what I said. You know, times without number. Hello?
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
And good morning to my good friend and brother Petro. My name is Steve Kennedy. I call you from my town hall residence.
Let's hear you, Steve.
Clarence,
Yeah.
thank you for this show, and I appreciate you. That's what makes us one of the best talk show hosts in Africa and in Liberia. But my issue is you could have laid a line for the better people. Costa
No. They're not trouble talk to you. My brother Steve, I beg you, man. Don't say
The
that.
second issue is I have to raise with you is Mr. Petro, what is your plan do you have for our people that is selling the slum community to Pacopi, to Red Light, and those different areas?
Okay, thank you.
What are your plan?
Thank you, Chief. Grand Gila. Hello?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's your name?
Yes, I'm Steve from Grand Gila, from Babota.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, while we're there, Costa, or the other opposition is wasting our time. We the president, Kerry Georgia. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go right here. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Karen Jackson.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, I'm calling from People Committee.
Dauda, let's hear you, my brother.
Karen Jackson is a constant teacher or great speaker as the council from People Committee. This man, the man of good cause, the last time on Georgia for he done many good things about Georgia who he planned for. I'm a follower of Costa.
Okay.
He done many good things about Georgia calling Georgia the good thing here. He done many good things. But when sometimes when he doesn't get in his follower come against him to tell against him, he will come out again and he wants to preach people. Let's say he want to wrap up this behind.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, good morning. I'm Dr. Karen Jackson, and good morning.
Chief, I said this line is not yours. I said this line for Grand Gila people. Hello?
Yeah, Karen, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm Darrell with a call from Costa.
You call from Zwedru. Let's hear you.
Yes, so I just want to make something clear. I always say that history is a raw data. And whatever you do in life, the thing that you say that will purchase it tomorrow. Few years back, like one of my brothers just said that Costa was on the radio pressing the government. And even like when we managing his post, when people started to comment on his post, Costa came back to make clarifications and even going back to seriousness. People were less understanding and
Let me ask you one question. When you go to school and you score 85%, do you pass or you fail?
You pass.
You pass. So Josh Weah is now criticizing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf-led government at some point in time, but he's on record for saying he graded about 85%.
So I think in society, President Weah was, if you say that Manasek say 100%, I would disagree with on a serious note. Because there are some good things that Manasek started.
No, but that's not an analogy. You want to hold Costa for praising the president at a certain point and disagree with the president, but I'm also saying to you.
I don't have a problem with he disagree. You don't have to agree with the president.
Okay, thank you. I just brought that up because that's how the politicians are. He said the president scored 85% that time, but right now he can criticize us as some public functions. Hello, or government. Anyway. Yep.
Good morning, Clarence, and good morning to Costa.
Good morning.
My name is Cooper Patrick, and I called this morning from case number 11.
Okay.
Let me appreciate Costa. Let me welcome him back to the country. The country is yours, and you are entitled to every ministry as a citizen of this country. But for the issue, I think Costa has said it from the day he announced his support for Joe Biden, he has been consistent with conversation. So, once you start questioning the ability of promoting Weah or dispromoting Weah.
No, they are reminding him about some of the things he did in the past, which is not a crime.
Today, I can praise you as one of the best journalists in Liberia. Tomorrow, if you start to go against the public interest and you go to CDC government and take money for a personal advertisement, and then come and say you are the worst journalist I ever seen before. So that's the argument.
Okay, let's go across the let's take some international calls. We got one already right here. Hello. Hello. Good morning. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jerry from calling from South Korea. Yeah, Pablo, good morning. I'm so calling for the wonderful job that you do. I just called to remind some of those that Pablo said this before the government. But next time, President said, any government can be after the president is the performance. And then later on, it came back to government calculates all around it. So Pablo, we wish you well. I think that the time that you provide leadership in also around the country.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this call. Hello? Hello? I thought I was taking a great deal of call. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, but you're on the line. You're not talking.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Clarence, my name is Dr. Newton Nicholas Smith, and I'm calling from my children's farm here in California.
From California. Go ahead, Nicholas. Yeah.
Yeah, Clarence, I want to say that I think Costa is being very deceptive
Okay.
in the studio because what most of the guys are saying, how will you say that you cannot record nothing good that the government has done? But then, you've been tracing the government before. You said good things about the government. So how now you cannot record nothing good that the government has done for the past 5 years? So Costa shouldn't be deceptive. You should speak truth to power. You
Okay.
should not try to mess around all this money.
Thank you. Hello? Two more. Then we'll go to Costa. Yeah? Yeah, I'm okay.
My name is Lahadi Soni, and I speak to you from the headquarters of the Renaissance Intellectual Center here in Taonta.
Mr. Soni, let's hear you.
Yes, I also want to greet Mr. Henry Pedro Costa, and I say welcome back to Liberia. Happy New Year. Basically, he spoke of Madam Sirleaf in 2017 undermining the intentions in favor of President Weah. His Vice President Joseph Newman Barkai. But I want to respectfully disagree with Mr. Costa on grounds that Mr. Costa was one of those during the campaign that means Mr. Barkai was calling all sorts of names that in fact he was Catholic, he was a old, red car parked in the garage, and he said all sorts of things about Mr. Barkai. And because of the campaign that Mr. Costa took against Mr. Barkai, that even led to the sour, support that the Nigerian people should have given Mr. Barkai. So you should not see the blame alone on Madam Sirleaf.
Okay, thank you. Hello, finally. Hello?
Let me say good morning, Cat Bishop, and let me say good morning to the Liberian people. And what Costa here in the country, and my name is Alexander Obama Puto Yanti.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm sure that's killing in that this thing to the doctor and purported adequate literature in the angle of his Costa. There's a saying that says, a good critic will always make a stand recommendation. Yes, he wanted to see him in Costa yesterday that friends with Joseph Breaker as an enemy. What is? Because we are considered young people, and we need to want the honest our consciousness. This president continue to perform the expectation of the African people. But you come here to take it hand. You cannot remember in the tangible. But where were you when the people of Luckington Street were anti-testing for war?
Okay. Thank you. Let's take Kofano. Is this from Grangela? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning. Come again? Oh, the lines are terrible. I apologize, man. We're not taking any calls. Let me go back to Costa to take him the rest of the 4 minutes. Costa, you heard the caller?
I heard. And most of your callers, a good number of them from Grangela. The Grangelas have always supported George Weah. And, you know, to my Dodi them, they are my people there. You know, my son, Pedro Costa Jr., got Grangela blood. His grandmother is from Bazon district. So the Grangela people, they are my people. But Grangela and Jowea, if somebody called from Grangela that's not supporting Jowea, it would be a surprise to me. so I am not surprised. But here's the thing I want to say. I thought about, I say, I see nothing good. Why do they need me to say I see something good? You do not need my validation. And you say you're doing well, believe it. Be satisfied with it. I say I don't see anything good Mr. Weah is doing. Mr. Weah has failed. Mr. Weah will be replaced. When Mr. Weah became president, I said I'm going to give him 1 year. You were here, Clarence. How many months did I give him? I did not reach 1 year. I went 10 months. I withdrew my support because Mr. Weah was doing terrible things and I was ashamed of those terrible things and I was supporting the government. Mr. Weah started breaking his houses down and building new ones overnight. The man was inaugurated in January. By March, the man demolished the 9th Street place and put a mansion there. So, perhaps they're talking about the things I said in those 10 months, in 2018 to 2019. Yeah, the early September 2019. That's what they're saying. So, I pulled my support from Mr. Weah 4.5 years ago. So, since then, tell me one thing Mr. Weah has done that I have praised him for.
How does President Weah call you?
What's up?
No, I mean, how does he call you when he calls you on the phone? He call your name Henry, or how does he call you?
Yeah, he calls me. If we don't have Mr. President, Mr. Costa, no, we just talk. Yeah, Prezo, oh my man, hey brother, yeah, we talk like that, brother, yeah, like that. That's how we talk. I'm telling you. That's how we talk. That's how we talk. One time he blocked me when he got mad. I posted his $4,000 pair of sneakers on Facebook. The Air Force One or the Nike sneakers designed by the late Ghanaian designer Virgil Abloh, and he blocked me, and then he unblocked me and said, he said I was jealous. He took a screenshot of my post and sent it to me and said, "You were very jealous, man." Then he said to me, "I will never." Then he came back to me in July 26 and unblocked me and said, and wished me happy 26. I wish you happy 26 too. He said, "I will never get vexed with you again." He said it. He said, "I will never get vexed with you again." He said that.
Will you remain in country till October?
Well, I'm going to be going back and forth, trying to mobilize resources, logistics for our campaign. So I'll be traveling back and forth. No money in. The economy is poor. So we're looking for money abroad to bring me here. Yeah. No money yet, mama, you know.
Have you decided, Costa, that you will contest, or is there going to be any point in time where you reconsider your decision?
My man, no reconsideration. We are running. Yeah, I know that's what the other guy wants to hear, but I'm sorry for him. He's not going to hear that. We are in the race. And
your critics say you couldn't win District 6. How will you win Montserrat?
John Weah couldn't win presidency in 2005. In 2011, he couldn't be vice president. He had to go to Senate. And he didn't win the first time. You see, not the first time you can win. The Costa of 2023, that the Costa of 2017, that is in Costa.
Has anything changed?
Oh yeah, lots of things have changed. The grace of God upon my life has increased. I am more educated, more credentialed. Lots of things have changed. My support base has expanded. International recognition. Coming home, I did an interview on the VOA that is in Costa. That is in Costa.
Okay, Costa.
A different Costa.
As we move to these elections, we'll always have more of these conversations. I hope the next time I can call you here exclusively, Costa, will look at your bid for Senator of Montserrat County. We'll talk about your vision and all these things. But welcome back to the country. It was good to have you here today, and thank you for coming, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clarence. I had a wonderful time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Henry Costa.